Hello everyone, it's Magdalena, Wolf of Coins. Thank you so much for tuning in. The Artisan Tarot has kindly asked me to do an review of their Jean Noblet deck. And I could hardly say no to that, right? I reviewed their other deck, the Jean Noblet, and after that they asked maybe I would like to review this one. So yeah, so here it is. I got this lovely pin together with the deck. How adorable is that? And I have the Jean-Claude Fleur Noir here version, the restoration of Jean Noblet, and the Joseph H. Peterson version, to compare the decks, because if you're thinking about purchasing this deck, you might want to see what advantages each deck has. I already have three, so so I have the luxury. But if you're just thinking about purchasing this wonderful historical deck, it is the oldest Tarot de Marseille. It's a classic, so if you're into Tarot de Marseille, it's a great choice to buy Jean Noblet. It's from the mid-17th century. So yeah, if you're getting into Tarot de Marseille for real, I highly recommend this deck. It's the Tarot de Marseille Type 1, because there are Type 1 and 2, and I have a video on my channel about the difference. These are minor differences, but just for your information, it is Type 1. So, I don't have the box for the Fleur Noir version. I have this pouch that I made myself, and it lives here. Look here! Yay! So, as I said, I really like this deck, but I already mentioned on this channel that I always had problems using it, and here is why. First of all, the cardstock is really thick, so you can see that even though the cards are not large, I have problems holding it, and shuffling is not an easy task. This is the cardstock. It's very stiff, and the other thing is these corners here. I tried to get used to them. I tried, I don't know if you can see it, using very fine sandpaper to make them a little bit less spiky, but I think it's the paper, it's the cardstock. It just hurts my hands. It's horrible. Of course, many people advised me to just get the corner rounder and make them round so I wouldn't suffer, but I somehow cannot make myself do it. So it stays like the, classical, original, historical deck would be, with the sharp corners. And so it is. So the Noblet by Jean-Claude Fleur Noir is a recreation, meaning he created the pictures from the beginning, like anew, again, by himself, and he colored these. So the colors here are very bright. They are flat, as you can see. And the background is this creamy color. See? It's creamy. Then the Joseph Peterson version is another story. This is something like a facsimile, but not exactly. It has been cleaned, like based on the copy from, where is it? Yeah, it's the reproduction of the 37 original surviving cards, and there were 6 to 10 of swords missing. And here there's an additional Butler card. Oh, I'm sorry if you hear the construction site. It's still here. The house they're building is huge, but luckily it's not obscuring my view from my window. It's a bit to the side, so I'm lucky. I can see a beautiful pine tree there. So yay. Where was I? So in the original deck, the stencil was probably broken. So a part of the magician's hand got erased. He doesn't have hands, fingers on his hand, and the second part of his wand is missing. So as you can see, Fleur Noir kept the original. He doesn't have those fingers here, and there's only half of the wand. What Joseph Peterson did was to keep the original, but also he created a complete version, so you can choose what you prefer. Okay, what else? They kept also the original misspelled spelling. It's crazy what is happening with the spelling on these old cards. But yeah, and the cardstock is not as thick. Let's compare. See, that's the Jean-Claude Fleur Noir, and this is Peterson. So yeah, this is much easier to manage. So to read the cards, I usually would use this deck. It also has sharp corners, but somehow they don't hurt me. I don't know how it's possible, but yeah, it's also like a nice cardstock. Very easy to shuffle, which I love. I hate it when the cards stick to each other. And yeah, as you can see, I took the pains to put the decks, and I already am mixing them, the decks in order, so that whenever I want to show you something, I can easily find the card in both decks. So, yay me! And finally, the Artisan Tarot version. Again, this is the back. Here, it's the original back from the Jean Noblet. Just the size of the markings is different. You can compare here. This is bigger. So the first thing that you see is the marvelous cardstock. This is just like silk, or actually linen, because it is the linen finish. So it prevents the glare. And I think it's the same as the Jean Noblet by them as well. Yeah, this is the review version. That's why I have these margins here. But yeah, I really love this cardstock. Plus the corners are mercifully round. So the size is also, let's compare the size. It is a small deck. Originally, the Noblet is a small deck, but it is even smaller than the Fleur Noir and then the Peterson version. So it's very handy. I think it's a great traveling deck. And yeah, again, the cardstock is thinner, but I think it's very durable and shuffles wonderfully, so that's for me a very important thing. Yeah, which one is thinner? I'm not sure. Well, it's more or less the same. So as it says here, Again, just like the Dodal deck that I have by them, this is a adaptation, hand restored and adapted by Christine Condor with guidance from William Rader. So, what does it mean? It means that it is not like a scan of a careful scan of the cards. It is just like here, it is recreated. Plus, there are some changes done to the original line work. Just as with the Dodal, I would call it like aesthetically pleasing or symmetrically pleasing version, and you will soon see what I mean by that. Well, the color palette is, here you see, these are like a bit faded and darker colors. You will see that some cards are really faded. That is because of the original. The original was like that. It was pressed with, I don't know, not enough paint or something, or maybe it just faded. Some colors with time, they fade and others get darker. I think especially blues get darker, so probably it wasn't as dark, but yeah, I don't know exactly. Oh, and as you can see, there are those, like he has some stockings or something. So in the original, only like, it's not logical how the stocking disappears all of a sudden. This leg should probably have been blue, so that he would have this stocking that, or I don't know what kind of clothes it was in the 17th century, but yeah, it doesn't continue here. So the Artisan Tarot version is more logical. So it is a version that is made so as to, yeah, you can imagine how it would look like if the card makers were less careless, probably. Here, Fleur Noir keeps the illogical coloration, also with the yellow on the other leg, just as in the original. I mean, I'm calling this the original because the base of this deck were scans from an original copy from the museum. So forgive me, I will be calling this the original, but of course it is not. There have been some changes made, like cleaning of the colors, probably also making them more clear or something. And of course the magician card is recreated. Plus those sword cards are recreated from zero because they are not present in the original copy. They are lost. So, yeah, let's walk through all of the cards. So, this is Le Faux. Just like in the Dodal, it's also not Le Mans, it's Le Faux. So, the Fool, Le Battleur, the Magician. And here, what do we see? So, I really like this color. Actually, I really like this color palette. The Fleur Noir for me is a bit, I don't know, those colors are clashing with each other and they are not pleasant for me, for my eye. Of course, it's a hugely subjective thing, so it's just, I'm just saying it is just me. As you can see here, the background is a little bit creamy. This is very creamy. This is Snow White. I'm so happy I have good weather today because yeah, you will be able to see the colors properly. What else? Maybe I will show you the faces, because it is something that you really cannot recreate perfectly unless you're really a genius of geniuses. But I think faces are a personal, an individual mark that the recreator leaves on the project. So, as always, I am a fan of the original faces in the Noblet because they are really charming. I really like them, how they look. They are... Oh, I hate you, construction site. They are really subtle. Even though they, like, some parts of the deck may seem crude, still the faces are really beautiful and subtle. On the Fleur Noir, they are quite different. While here, as far as I can see in the Butler example, this is closer, I would say, to the original. But again, it's a matter of preference. Okay, so we have the magician, two magicians. Which one was I using? Actually, the recreated one? Or okay, let's say I'm using this one. Then there's the papes. Let's have a look at the faces. So again, each version has a different face. Even though they are similar, yet here you see how the line of the jaw is different than here. It goes more like, it's more narrow than here. It's a bit fuller on the original. And what else? Again, the lines have been made more logical, like coherent on the Artisan Tarot. And it is again a matter of individual preference. Some people prefer those things that look like mistakes on the historical decks, because you can also like read them, see new shapes in them. And some people would prefer the picture to make more sense. So it is up to you what you prefer, right? So there are details here, like here we see that this border or something, this part of her cloak doesn't have those little teeth here, and here it looks more, a teensy bit more realistic. Again, the lettering here is like computer perfect, while here you see it's been cut in wood and pressed. So the letters are not completely symmetrical. Oh, one of my favorite cards in this deck, if not the most favorite, is the Empress. Oh, sorry for shaking. So, the color palette here is very muted, actually. So the Empress is quite blue, and she's pissed off. She's just, yeah, man, it's not my day. It just don't mess with me. Look at that. We are not amused. Then the Emperor facing right, as opposed to many Terre de Marseille decks. The Pope. So yeah, so you see that in this version, so in the original, like imagine yourself having the original deck, which was a cheap deck for playing cards. So you would have all those imperfections. In these two versions, the imperfections are made perfect, so the colors are perfectly flat. And yeah, I really like the colors on this one, actually. I really do. So yeah, let's go further. You can always pause to see it, like to stare at your favorite card. This is the Chariot, Justice, and this is a funny thing. This little fringe that the Hermit has in the original, and it's been kept here as well, is just white, and the rest is like blue or gray. Here again, more logical approach. Plus, you see that the faces are just simply not colored. And in the case of the Artisan Tarot, there is this pretty pale flesh color added to the faces. So it's a different color than the background. Also, as I said, the background is snow white, so it's a really good contrast of colors, if that's what you prefer. Weird guys on the Wheel of Fortune. And Force. Oh, sorry. So as you see, the original strange numbering has been kept here. It's the same in all of these. So it's Roman numerals 11, but it's X divided by this little semicolon or whatever you call it. And again, I mixed them up, sorry. I had two decks to put in order, and yeah, sometimes it doesn't go perfectly. So the Hangman, he's the crazy one. Look at him, like, ma. Then Death card. Please pay attention that actually in the Noblet there is a name on the Death card. Because in many Tarot de Marseille decks, you won't have any name here. It's the nameless Arcanum. But here it's, yeah, no problem. This is Death. And it's, the skeleton is looking in the other direction. So to the left. Here you see how hard to see that, how hard it is to see the details on this card, because there was a really dark paint here, and the contours were not as black, so it's a bit messy. Plus, poor Death has a smear on his, or actually her, head, while here everything is crystal clear. You can see every detail on the card. Then we have Temperance. Oh, and my other favorite is the Devil. So look here. This one actually has a face of kind of, considering those horns, it looks a bit like a deer with this nose and those weird eyes, and the ears and the horns. So it's like a deer woman, possibly. Yeah, and look at those feet. They're like, I don't know, little flowers. Adorable. Then we have the House of God. Very dark colors here, just like in the original, but I suspect it was not as dark. It's just those blues that turn almost black with time. There's like, you know, chemical processes going on with the paints. And then the beautiful star. And the moon card. The sun. And what's interesting in this deck, these two people are actually, this one is fully dressed, while this one is almost naked. So this is interesting because in many other decks they are both kind of without clothes. Then we have Judgment, crossed-eyed Judgment. And here what's interesting, these faces in the Artisan Tarot have been kept white. Are they perfectly white? Yes, they are, just like the background. So for some reason, and in the Sun card as well, for some reason they are white here. Maybe it starts from the, after the Devil. Yeah, there's the House of God, and then the Star. So, I don't know, you get into the celestial realm and the faces are white. Maybe it's symbolic. And lastly, the World. This eagle is so cute. Why? Oh, okay. I put these in my favorite order, but the original order of the Artisan Tarot was different. So, man, I'm again not... Wait a minute. Okay, I think I got this. All right. So there's the Ace of Batons with this beautiful oak leaf. Two of Batons. Three. It's very, yeah, it's very pleasing to the eye. Very symmetrical again, but not completely symmetrical. Just like with the Dodal, it's been made a bit more symmetrical, more smooth, but not absolutely smooth, if I may say so. Well, I myself am okay with the imperfections of the original historical decks. I find it actually charming with all those illogical lines, and oh, I love these flowers. I like those weird body parts appearing here and there, and I just like it. But if you like your deck to be more coherent, logical, then yeah, then this is a great version to use. And look here at the 10, they actually kept those little teeny tiny dots on both sides of the X. So it's not like the deck has been like completely smoothed out and the images are based on the original, but they don't have any of the original imperfections or characteristical points, because there are some of them. Then we have the Page of Batons. Knight of Batons. Again here, as you can see, with the black earth under him, there's a lot of mess going on here. Here it is very clear, just like in the Fleur Noir. The contrast is really good. Queen of Batons. So the coloration here, I wonder why. Well, maybe also to make it more logical, because she had some blue here and now she only has this beige. Also the green is missing from here. And those stripes of red and blue. So they are made more, how do I put it? Yeah, again, smooth and more coherent. However, I like the jumbled version, so it's an individual thing. And lastly, from the Batons, welcome the king, who is young and handsome. All right, so now to the cups. I must say I really love the colors on this one. They are muted, but they are not obvious colors. I mean here, well, of course it depends probably on the printer and the settings of the graphic program or wherever, but here they look more, this green is warmer, but this green, oh my goodness, I really love this green. It is with this, it's colder green with this bluish tint. I just really like it. Again, my individual preference, but it's really pleasing to my eye. But again, less colors. Here you see plainly how it has like 4 colors on this little platform. Here everything is gold. Then the 2 of Cups. Love the faces. So yeah, again, on 2 of Cups you often have the name of the maker and the place where it has been made. What's curious, you have bluish liquid in here and you have greenish liquid in here, and you have an unidentified color here. Maybe it was supposed to be blue, but there was yellow underneath, so it turned greenish, but it's just only a thought. 3 of Cups. Look how gorgeous is this Jean Noblet deck. It has 1 flowers facing up and other facing down. This is such a little thing, but it's so charming that they don't just like symmetrically go the same way, but they are like this. I really like it. The Jean Noblet deck is really, it's really a little jewel, and it's little because I mean because of the size. And there's the 5 and the numeration, like the numbers that are not present on all of the cards has been kept. So on the 4 and the 3 you don't have a number, here you have a number. So it's like in the original. There's the 6, 7, the 8, a very full 9, so they decided not to put the, I mean the card maker decided not to put the number here, no space. But he squeezed in the 10, and the 10 here also has those little tiny dots, just like in the batons. All right. Then we have the page, who has really fancy garters. Are they garters, or I don't know? But these thingies here, I like them. Fancy. Then the Knight of Cups, a very romantic young knight. Yeah, it's so cute, like they made the star here gold. Well, here I think it has been just like done in contour color in black. And there's the Queen. Again, her outfit has much less colors. Yeah, maybe this makes more sense to the modern eye. But I find this messy and charming at the same time. And lastly, the King, who has a really cool floor, doesn't he? Oh, here you can see the linen finish that I talked about. It's very nice. So we start with the coins. Here is the ace, with lovely grapes on the right. The 2, and again information here, same what was on the 2 of Cups. The 3, look, these are like little bells. The 4, and then we have 5, 6, 7. I know this video is very long already, but I wanted to give you a proper look into not only this deck, of course this is the review of this deck, but I wanted this video to be a help to those who don't know, because now you have at least 3 decks that you can choose from, and yeah, here you can see what the features of each are. Oh, this flower is gorgeous. And lastly, the 10. And again, it has those little dots, but there is no X here. So, we get into the valet, who has savings here. He has a coin in his hand and some savings for later. There is the Knight. So again, as you can see, some parts are just not clear enough to be sure how they look like. Look at this bottom tip of her staff. There's something here. So you have to decide whether it is just a simple ball or maybe something with more decoration. But this is how it is. And the King, I think, okay, in this instance, I will say that I actually prefer this version of the crown / hat of the King of Coins to the original, because, you know, it was very hard to make such detailed stencils. Of course, Japanese people could do it. They were amazingly good at those little details. But these cards were cheap, and the makers didn't spend so much time like honing the stencil for, let's say, yellow here. They just thought, okay, there's the crown, there will be yellow here, and the tip will be red. But look, probably the painter, because the painter and the person who cut the stencils were not the same person, so he imagined probably something like this. And I really love his hat / crown. It really looks good. So we are done with coins, deniers, and lastly, the swords. There is the ace. And as you can see, they kept the rule of making the, well, body parts a bit, can you see? It's not the same color as the background, while here it's just not colored at all. Then there's the 2, the 3, oh, 4 of swords is beautiful. But this time I do prefer the original idea because it puts something different here. And yeah, look, they are so charming, those swords here. They have yellow or gold inside, and I really like that. Here we have just empty space. Five. So the swords are much more muted than in the original coloring. The 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Again with the dots, this time on both sides. And the quartz. Valet, Knight of Swords, or Cavalier, again with the golden, how you call it? You know what I mean. You know what it is. I just don't know the English word for it. Queen. And lastly, the King. Again, young and handsome, but a bit cross. So this is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched the whole of the video without moving forward, I salute you. And lastly, let's see how it shuffles. Oh my goodness, it's awesome. I really love decks that shuffle like this. It's just lovely. I must say the cardstock is just amazing. And I think, as I said, this is a great traveling deck. It's because of the size, and like the Noblet is small in itself, but this one is even smaller than the other published version of it. So yeah, there are no problems shuffling it. The cards are pretty small, so even if you have very small hands, you can manage. The cardstock is not too thick, so again, you can manage with hands that are not too big. And thank you so much to Artisan Tarot that I could review this deck. See, what a wonderful card we got here, the Hermit. Please let me know, my dear viewers, which version would you prefer? What did you like or did not like about these versions, and whether you like the Noblet deck in general. I would love to know. I like it. It's charming. However, I think if we take these two, I am more of a Dodal person myself. Are you a Dodal person or a Noblet person? Please let me know in the comments. And one last thing, if you're interested in my practical Tarot de Marseille video course, it's available for purchase. It's a self-paced course, so you can do it at your leisure. And then you can also, if you like, have 1 hour video session with me in small groups, maximum 4 people. We already had one. Hello, my dear students. It was so amazing to meet you. And then we chat, we discuss tarot, and we read together. So yeah, thank you so much for watching and have a lovely day. Bye.